Well, today Fujifilm just released a brand new camera. Let's talk about it. Hi everyone and welcome to Pal to Tech. Today Fujifilm just announced the brand new 102 megapixel fixed lens mirrorless digital camera called the GFX100 RF. That's right, a fixed 35mm constant f4 aperture lens, which is a 28mm equivalent in a 35mm format. And this is Fujifilm's first GFX camera that actually comes in two colors, black and silver. It's a rangefinder-style design that weighs 735 grams. Now that weight includes the battery and the SD card. It's 90.4 millimeters high by 133.5 millimeters wide. And clearly, this is Fujifilm's smallest GFX camera that they've ever released. Now, this camera clearly shares some similarities with the X100 For example, it has a leaf shutter, it has the same built-in 4-stop ND filter, and it has similar weather resistance as the X100 And actually included in the box, there's quite a few things that come with it. For example, there is the 49mm protective filter, there's a lens hood, adapter ring, hood cap, lens cap, and a shoulder strap. Getting back to the fixed lens, which is 10 elements in 8 groups, you have a 9-blade aperture ranging from f4 to f22 with 1/3 stops in between. The minimum focus distance is 20 centimeters and the lens filter size is 49mm. Now the top of the camera has your hot shoe mount, a combined shutter speed and ISO dial, your on-off switch and shutter release, as well as a custom button here and an exposure compensation dial. Now you see this right here, aspect ratio. That's right, and with that in mind, let's now take a look at the back of the camera. Here we have a dedicated dial to change the aspect ratio to one of 9 different aspect ratios. When you rotate the dial, you can actually see a preview of that ratio right in the viewfinder. You have the option to preview with a frame line, or a black surround, or even a grayed out surround. Also on the back of the camera, you've got your focus mode switch right here, an auto exposure focus lock button, a command dial, a Q button, the usual joystick, menu OK button, as well as the DISP back button, playback, and drive buttons. And right here is the 5.76 million dot 0.84 mag electronic viewfinder that has a built-in refresh rate of 100 frames per second. Right to the left of it is a diopter dial, and down below that is the 3.15-inch 2.1 million dot LCD touchscreen, and this will tilt out in the same 2 different 2-axis directions as the X100 camera. Looking at the front of the camera now, have a look at this right here. It's a digital teleconverter lever. You can assign custom settings to additional movement options, and for this switch right here, you can assign additional movement options such as a long pull or a short pull, meaning that if you move it quickly, it can do one thing, and if you move it slowly, you can have the camera programmed to do something else. Interestingly, this lever is set to crop in focal lengths, meaning that you can crop at 45mm, 63mm, or 80mm. The viewfinder will of course show this and indicate what crop that you're using. The left side of the camera has a solid cover that houses a separate microphone and headphone port, as well as a micro HDMI and USB-C port. Now, the USB-C port will support an external SSD for additional storage, and also it can be plugged into a computer so that the entire camera can be used as a UVC webcam. The right side of the camera contains 2 separate UHS-2 SD card slots, while the bottom of the camera has your tripod mount and a battery cover. Speaking of batteries, the camera uses the larger NPW235 battery, which is the same as the X-T5 and other GFX models. Fujifilm does state that you can get up to 820 frames on a single charge in normal mode. This is actually a pretty significant increase over prior GFX models, which I believe were in the 600 frame range. The image processing engine uses the X Processor 5, which gives it the same autofocus and subject detection algorithms that you would find in other Fujifilm camera models running that 5th generation processor. You can shoot in both 16-bit RAW format as well as 10-bit HEIF format still images. Of course, it comes with all 20 current Fujifilm film simulations. Now for stills, the lowest native ISO is 80, and for video, that's 100. If you're shooting in F-Log2, the lowest ISO that you can go with is 800. Regarding burst mode, you get up to 6 frames per second continuous shooting. The buffer size is about 300 JPEGs or 40 RAW files. The shutter speed can go up to 1/4000th of a second in mechanical mode and up to 1/16,000th of a second in electronic shutter. Now, as far as video is concerned, you can get up to 4K 30p 422 10-bit 720 megabits per second. The camera can also output ProRes HQ, but you're going to need to use the external SSD for that one. The camera can shoot with up to 13 stops of dynamic range with F-Log2. Now, as far as image stabilization, it does not have a built-in mechanical IBIS. Rather, there is a 5-axis digital image stabilization feature. However, this is only for video mode, and with that, you may get, I believe it's up to a 1.32 times crop if you use the digital IBIS. It also has the same video tools that you would find in other GFX and XH2 cameras, such as waveform, vectorscope, zebras, etc. So when will it be available? Well, according to Fujifilm, the new GFX100 RF will go on sale sometime in April, and it's expected to retail for a price of $48.99. Now, I have not had the chance to actually see one in person, but hopefully at some point I can do a full review of the camera. It looks to me, though, that Fujifilm is definitely stepping into a different and newer direction with the design of a camera like this, meaning increased dedicated dials. Because I haven't had the opportunity to use the camera, I don't know if these dials can be fully changed or customized if, say, you wanted them to perform different functions. From a design perspective, to me at least, this camera is absolutely beautiful. And it seems to me, now that Fujifilm has had a few generations of GFX to sort of nail down the cost and the feasibility of medium format, they're now stepping into kind of upping their design game with those cameras as well. I would love to hear your thoughts, and please feel free to put them in the comments below. Anyhow, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.